Good afternoon. Happy Monday, VV Nation. Now, before we get started, put a VV in the comments section appropriately if you just hear us, if you can see us, if all the technicals are good. We got Joey in the background, and as you can tell, we got a special guest today. I'll let him introduce
Hello, everybody.
himself.
How's everybody doing? Jerry D'Ambrosio. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Monday. Nice to get back from a long 3-day weekend. Hope everybody's ready to go. Got some good content to cover today.
All right, well, I know this is a new realm for Jerry, but many of you know he's our swing trading coach, right?
Yep.
For the actual coaching room. Mm-hmm. So he'll be able to give you, I saw it in the comment section, he's very analytical when it comes to chart analysis, so it'll be an extra bonus. Now, I'm already seeing the comments as far as Glenn. I will see him today, actually. I'm going to go visit him today after work. So let me talk with him before I give any kind of updates or any information, but I'm going to talk to him directly. As far as I know, his recovery is coming just as we've kind of expected. He's doing good, so just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Wednesdays, afternoon market action, just depending on what Glenn, his family say. Obviously here at management, we're going to be respectful, but I will give you an update as soon as possible. But as of right now, no bad news at all. He's recovering just good. Now, let's go ahead. Now that we got Jerry co-hosting this, we're going to get kicked off. Joe, you want to put us in the software? Let's see. The markets are retracing a little bit. Let's see. We're on a little bit of delay. There we are. Now we're in the software. You can see the Dow Jones. It looks like it's leading the charge to the downside. Actually, the VectorVest composite has surpassed it down almost just over 0.75%. So you can see the small caps and mid caps probably weighing down on the VectorVest composite today a little bit more. The Dow Jones, though, what I am surprised, the NASDAQ actually less volatile than the Dow Jones or VectorVest composite. Mm-hmm. Trying to hold its ground about 0.5% to the downside here. Now, that being said, obviously we're not showing the market timing signals, but we're 3 lights into the yellow, right? So if you bought stocks last week, from the enthusiasm going into the holiday weekend, it's not saying go out and sell them all. It's just saying, put a pause on the buying. Stay cautious, especially with the MTI level so high, as many as you know, since you have access to the software. If you do not, we have the 99-cent trial. Joey, what expires in 2 days? Today. Today's the last day, so I'm glad I mentioned it. So if you don't have access, 99 cents gives you full access to the software, 30 days. So just want to put that out there as well. We got Jake. Hello, Crazy, Jerry, John. Prayers for Glenn. Hope Glenn is doing well. Hey, everyone. Amir, just need some direction today. MTI is way up. This makes me nervous. Means time to trim. Amir, I think you got the right idea. And again, it's always, what your goals were, right? Am I going to say go out and trim, the Apple stock you may have been holding for 15 years? Probably not, right? That's on you. But if you bought, essentially from the tariff dip that we saw, 2-3 months ago, if you're just trying to swing trade that, that's probably a little bit more respectable, now that should be trimming with the MTI so high. But, some of our, actually, I don't think there's one market timing signal down right now, is there, Jerry?
There is not. Nope.
We might tease a little bit in the graph, see if those market timing signals are still keeping you in some good trades. All right, now that we know the markets pulled back a little bit, let's go to news stories, just see what's moving the markets, what's moving some stocks today. First one, we got Jerry.
So I came across this article. If you guys remember, was it April of just this year, President Trump issued a 90-day, what do you want to call it, a grace period for countries to come to the table and decide what they want to do, what types of deals they want to make in terms of the tariffs that we will be implementing. That has been extended a little bit. August 1st looks like those specific duties will kick in. That was news that came out over the weekend. So the 90-day extension, I think, expired yesterday or tomorrow, excuse me. I think the markets are a little jittery and still confused, maybe a little uncertain about what all will transpire here and when the tariffs will be implemented, how much the tariffs will be. But it's been another 3-week extension. So news came out that come to the table now. Let's start negotiating. August 1st will be the day, and that date, from what I understand, is non-negotiable, and it will not change. August 1st, the tariffs will be implemented. So I think that's why one of the reasons why the market's falling a little bit today is that renewed uncertainty revolving those tariffs.
I knew it was coming up. Con, in the comment section, have a taco. We all know what that means. I'm not going to say much more than that. But we know the uncertainty from all the tariff discussion. Markets don't like that. Yeah. Obviously, that's going to play a role in today. But again, one day does not equal a trend, right? So here's another story. Jerry, what's going on here?
Yeah, so Tesla stock down again today after Mr. Musk decided to launch or begin exploration of a new political party, the America Party. I think investors are a little concerned here because it seemed like he was removing himself from the political realm. Which
I felt would be a better idea.
Better idea for his shareholders, better idea for his stock price. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, so I think investors are a little concerned here. By the way, Tesla stock, too, was flirting with its 50-day moving average just recently. Today, stock price dropped below the 50-day moving average, so a little bit of concern there. But Elon Musk jumping back into the political spectrum here might not be a confidence builder for Tesla stock investors.
I don't blame them. I will say we've seen it in the past. I'm not going to mention the companies, but we've seen other companies get political on certain ideas, and typically business and politics. It's just going to make the stock price even more volatile.
Yeah, Maria says, good, I'm in TSLQ. TSLQ is the double leverage Tesla inverse ETF. I actually just bought that this morning in our swing trading group. So bearish on Tesla. With the stock price falling below the 50-day moving average, I think you have to be bearish on the stock itself. Even without the news that Musk is creating an America Party. So technically speaking, stock price below the 50-day moving average, good time to be bearish on the stock.
We'll take a look at the chart here in just a few. But this is an article just to expand on what's going on in the market right now. Trump threatens extra 10% tariff on countries that align with anti-American BRIC policies. And I know Glenn has talked about the BRICS quite a bit, the de-dollarization, things of that nature. Something I thought was very interesting. One leader, probably the most important leader, did not show up to that meeting in Brazil over the weekend. That was going to be Xi Jinping. He actually sent, I think it was his premier in his place. I know Xi was just in Brazil not too long ago, but I was looking at some ETFs. We got some iShare ETFs on India, Brazil, China. So we're going to see how those are moving today. Last time I looked at them, I thought it was interesting just because Brazil and India were down, but China was up. And I have a feeling that probably not going, probably looks good in the grand scheme of things. Because the BRICS nations, obviously Trump is not a fan of de-dollarization. Will Jerry be singing with you today, Ryan? Well, you're lucky if you ever get me to sing.
I will not be singing with Ryan today.
Maybe I'll ask, see if Glenn will record a video of him singing, and I can see if we can maybe get Joey to edit and bring it in one of these videos just for some fun one day.
Yeah.
All right, now. I did, Tesla here dropped 7%. Me and Jerry had the same story.
Same story, yeah.
Obviously getting back in the political realm, that can help and hurt you very quickly, as we've seen with the stock price here. But other than the political party, let's not forget the disaster autonomous vehicle rollout in Austin not long ago, which caused the stock to shoot up, and then I think it was shooting star? No, what was it? Dark cloud cover. I think it was a dark cloud cover on Tesla that day, giving the gains up. And one of the videos was the car going the wrong way down the street. So other than the political thing, my thing with Elon right now is the company is way overvalued just as a car company. The other projects, the autonomous, the robotics, the AI, those things have to come to fruition. And more importantly, before the competition heats up, right? Because these were ambitious. These were made. Some of these promises were made, 5 years ago, and he's way behind the times now. We got Amazon and Google stepping into the race as well.
Also, there's a couple other things. So, I part of the article was Tesla's outdated product line, outdated car line. That seems to be an issue for consumers, as well as the tax rebate. So, with Trump's big, beautiful bill, that has gone away. So the EV tax rebate has gone away. I think that's going to affect consumer demand for EVs moving forward.
I will say the body styles of the Teslas, they do need to upgrade.
Yeah, yeah.
They've been pretty much generally the same, since they began.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Carvana. What's going on with Carvana, Jerry?
Carvana stock hitting a 52-week high. I found this article interesting and this business model interesting. Everybody is looking for convenience nowadays, right? No matter what they're buying. I think the Carvana model is working. You do the drawback, or you do kind of give up price a little bit, so you might be paying a premium for their service. But if your goal is convenience, transparency, trust, Carvana's got a great business model. I just think the stock turnaround has been phenomenal. This stock price was $5 2.5 years ago. If you look at the stock, it's been a huge U-shaped over the last 5 years. It was at $350. It would drop down to $5. Now it's back to $350. So I just think the stock price turnaround is unbelievable. Model's great. Again, everybody's looking to buy everything nowadays online, and now you can buy cars online. So I think Carvana is a stock that you definitely want to watch.
I think Carvana is just an industry disruptor that took advantage of the next generation of buyer, like most home buyers. They don't even see the homes nowadays. Amazon, everything is online, delivered to you, the convenience of it. I've never personally used Carvana. I've had friends that utilize it. It was a really cool experience. You get the car dropped off to you, get to use it for a couple days. If you don't like it, you just tell them to pick it back up.
You're paying the premium for that convenience, for sure.
Let's see your comment section. I'd be fine if Google were to spin off the phone business. Oh, John's talking about, he was at the Verizon store. Notice more people using the Pixel phone now. That's what I have, is Google Pixel. It's a really good phone. I do like the AI camera. There's some really cool features there. I want to go in and haggle for a car like I'm buying something. I'm in an open market like you see in Europe. Yeah, John, you like to haggle, don't you? Pennywise, from what I hear, they're trying to give away Cybertrucks these days. I'm not going to get started on the Cybertruck. I just think it's ugly.
I agree.
TikTok has a buyer, but they don't have a seller. Yeah, the TikTok deal, I don't know if that's ever really going to come to fruition. I don't know if China's really in a rush to sell it at this point.
That got quieted down quite a bit. That was the headline a couple months ago, but you don't really hear much about it anymore.
No, everyone was trying to buy it, but I don't think they're really in a rush to sell it. This is on CNBC Pro, but ultimately, even though Nvidia, I know it's down today, a lot of the chip companies are, Nvidia just got another price raise. It was from the article is obviously blocked now, but it went from 180 to 190. So we're going to take a look at Nvidia, because like I've said, our valuation's been on the rise. 180 to 190, I see that as pretty reasonable price target, in my opinion. I think our valuation within the VectorVest 7 software is not too far from that. But it's just citing the expanding AI opportunity. And again, it doesn't matter if Amazon is the leader. It doesn't matter if Google's the leader. It doesn't matter if Microsoft leads, because guess what? They're all using Nvidia chips at the end of the day. Next up, we got OPEC. If you're thinking about the oil trade here, just be careful with that. I see oil up a little bit today. If I had to guess, and obviously my hearts and prayers to those in Texas. If I imagine, the news of a hurricane-type storm in Texas, you can see oil up today. Iran story didn't really push oil up too much, but this is what's going to hurt oil. Maybe you might get some swing trade summer month opportunities there. Probably it's been pretty short-lived as we've seen so far. But look, OPEC Plus to complete unwinding of oil output cuts with big September hike. The group surprise production increases aim to regain market share and align the U.S. calls for lower energy prices. Well, who'd they lose market share? Right here, U.S. shale production, right? So it looks like they're going to fight back, and it's going to push oil cheaper. Trump's going to get what he wants. We're going to get lower oil prices. It looks like as long as OPEC goes along with these guidelines. So if you're thinking about being bullish on oil, just be careful, because obviously this is going to, oil price goes down. Typically the stocks go down with it, right? Let's see here. Next up, we got Netflix.
Yep, Netflix. The headline here is how Netflix keeps luring big-name directors away from the traditional box office. They do this by some pretty lucrative contracts. They pay the directors really well. They, of course, have exposure to about 300 million subscribers. And they give, here's the big thing, they give directors creative freedom, which a lot of the big studios don't do. Netflix also has a deal with Sony, that any Sony studio movies that are in theaters, Netflix gets first rights to those once streaming becomes available. I love Netflix. Can't live without my Netflix account. So great stock price. If you guys looked at the stock price, I think it's just pulling back over a 52-week high. But I like how the headline read that they're kind of luring these big name directors. Also, what Netflix does, which I think is interesting, they do with some of the movies that they make, offer a limited theater release for about a week, and they do that so that the movies can be eligible for Academy Awards. So the directors like that, right? So they like their movies to be in the Academy Awards. So they only give the movies about a week or two release in theaters, then goes right to streaming after that. So a lot of the big name directors, Greta Gerwig, Martin Scorsese, Ryan Johnson, making some pretty good movies for Netflix. So great stock price too. Good buying opportunity too, by the way. Just pulling back of a 52-week high. I think it's just a little bit above the 20-day moving average. So I hate buying stocks that are screaming up the page. I like those pullbacks to moving averages. Looks like Netflix is doing that.
I love Netflix.
Yeah.
And I almost describe it as a growth utility company.
Nice.
Because if you think about it, Netflix is probably, especially as the consumer gets tighter and tighter, inflation, everyone's getting tighter on their wallets. No one's losing their Netflix because that's how you save money. Is stay home with your Netflix, right? And Tabula, I do like your comment there. I posted it, buy Netflix and chill. I'd actually bought an QQQ and chill shirt, but I didn't get the green light to wear it on the show. So that was a while back. But yeah, as far as Netflix, another industry disruptor.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the reasons essentially why the cable has been cut. Disney, their streaming platform is good, but I mean, it doesn't have the viewership, doesn't have the content quality, and Netflix going into the live side of things. Have you seen that more? They got the wrestling. They've got some football on there. They had the boxing match,
which was a disaster.
The
boxing match was a disaster. Yeah.
So I think they're tiptoeing and trying other things. I'm surprised they don't have some kind of news source on Netflix.
Yeah.
But other than a couple live TV items, and they've pretty much got the whole market cornered there. Last story here, that was really good. This is going to be defense. I know a lot of people have been talking about defense. Lockheed Martin, the startupization of defense is leaving contractors behind. It's talking about how Lockheed Martin is lagging on some of the other traditional, defense plays. And where's it at here? We're seeing companies like this, Palantir, right? These are the new defense names. Tonight's 6 p.m. video, it's a stock that has popped up in the comment section a lot over the last 2 weeks. So tonight's video is going to be on it. BBAI, Big Bear AI. I got a lot of good stories, got a lot of good information. I know the stock's overvalued in the VectorVest 7 software, but so was Palantir. But there's just a lot of momentum with AI growth, cybersecurity growth, Department of Defense contracts, things of that nature. So I just want to put Palantir on your radar. And tonight is going to be Big Bear AI. LMT will be fine. This is time to buy. Yeah, I'm not going to say Lockheed Martin's a bad buy by any means, but it is lagging. Some of these other, the traditionals are lagging, some of these startup defense companies. And it's mostly AI cybersecurity. All right, with that information, let's go ahead and jump over to VectorVest 7 software. Let's take a look at some of these stocks here. Go to watch list viewer, midday. Oh, here we go. All right, so top of the list here by VST is going to be Nvidia. This is a stock I had here. We had Nvidia buy rating here. See, again, still undervalued. We value the company at 167. That is not a price target. That's just what we feel the stock is intrinsically worth, and what we think it's worth right now. Right now, we think you're getting a deal on it. Right now, it's trading 158. We value it at 167, so pretty close to its valuation. Citigroup's price target was from 180 to 190. A lot of these companies can obviously trade in overvalued territory, so I think 180 to 190. Me personally, think that's a reasonable price target when it comes to Nvidia. and it's still, you know, the leader of VST, so it's got great fundamentals here. Next up, we got Carvana.
Yeah, so Carvana, let me do this for a second here. Close, whoops, let me close this down. See if we can get a little bit more here. There we go. Okay, so Carvana trading right now, 354, again, all-time high. We value the stock right now at 91. So yes, you are paying a premium if you're buying Carvana. That's not such a bad thing if the fundamentals of the company are strong. And it does look like the fundamentals are pretty strong. RV at 1.39, RS above 1. If we look at earnings growth rate, sales growth at 38%, earnings growth rate at 47%, $3.84 earnings per share. It's got a great CI number at 1.69. And we'll look at the charts here in a moment. But strong fundamentals support you paying a premium for this company.
Let's see here. And then you got Netflix as well. That way overvalued now. What's undervalued?
Way overvalued now, yeah. Also strong fundamentals as well. So I know you look at price to value as a start. It's a starting point. You always want to get a sense of what the stock is currently worth. And ideally, you want to buy undervalued stocks. But there are exceptions, and I think these two are the exception to that rule because the fundamentals are strong. We've taught that for years. If you have a strong RV, strong RS, strong sales growth, strong earnings growth, fundamentals are strong, then the stock price is warranted to pay a little bit more of a premium for it.
Now, Palantir is a little bit different of a story because you got price to value way overvalued. But my cautionary tale with Palantir, I've always treated it like a momentum trade, which has worked out. Especially, you know that Glenn has been trading Palantir for about $15 probably. But look at the RV below 1. So if I do get in an overvalued position, and I'm thinking more longer term, ideally I would like an RV above 1. Now if I get something that's overvalued with an RV below 1, I'm probably going to treat it more off the technicals, momentum, rather than a buy and hold.
Correct.
What is that?
Absolutely. Favor RT. RT is at 1.58, so the stock's price is in a pretty strong uptrend. You might want to layer some other technical indicators, maybe moving averages to help entries and exits. But Palantir, technically speaking, is not a strong long-term holding. I think their earnings and their financial track record has to catch up first before our RV indicator will cross above 1, but it's currently below 1 right now, so a little more of a technical play than a long-term holding at the moment.
Okay, no, I definitely agree with that. And then these are the BRIC ETFs. I put China here, we got yen, I did the Agriculture Bank of China, another China, India, and Brazil. We see Brazil market currently down about 2% right now. India down about 0.5%. The FTSE Bear, I mean, it's triple leverage too, so it's pretty much flatline. But if you look at some of the other major players here, especially the Agricultural Bank of China, a huge player with their economy, up 0.06. So it's holding, so it's staying a little bit more positive territory. We're going to look at the trends. Actually, let's go ahead and jump in the chart. Oh, that last one we had was Tesla. So here you can see, look, Tesla. Price, value, way overvalued. RV next to nothing. The only thing you got for is safety. You don't even have the technicals now, right? So be careful if you're with Tesla. Again, I'm of the mindset, they're kind of falling behind the times, and obviously, getting political. We've seen that not work out too well with stocks in the past, and we're seeing that play out now. All right, let's go graph these here. All right, here's Nvidia. I'm going to go to 6-month chart here. Nvidia took out the prior high. You still see it's above the 20-day EMA. I'm not going to get too concerned until, if it drops below that 20-day EMA. This is my level support here at 153. We got the retest. If I actually zoom into a 1-month time span here. We have the retest here. We're showing some indecision. Ultimately, I'd like to stay above this big body candlestick here, find this as a level support, and tick back higher. But right now, with this candlestick showing us some indecision there. As far as growth rate and earnings, on the decline, sales growth rate flat, but still, for a Mag 7 company, multi-trillion-dollar valuation to come up with an earnings growth rate 38%, sales growth rate, which we always want to outpace the earnings is almost 70 at 69%, rising forecasted earnings per share. I still like Nvidia. It's still, it's obviously one of the most popular stocks out there. I think it is the largest market cap still, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it's still ahead of Microsoft, or just surpassed Microsoft again. But yeah, Nvidia, we all know it's rocking and rolling, but really wanted to stay above 153. If it drops below this, that 20-day EMA is right there, but if it breaks much more than this, maybe get defensive. And obviously, if Nvidia starts to roll over, look at what our market timing signals are doing. Here we got Carvana.
Here's Carvana. There's your 52-week high, just put in. That blue line is the 20-day moving average. I also like layering. I don't have to in this case because price is well above the 50-day moving average. I'm a moving average guy. I like taking a look at the short-term, long-term, intermediate-term moving averages. With the stock price hitting a 52-week high, prices above all major moving averages, your 3, your 8. What I like, look, if you ask me what I think about the stock, I'd say I want to pull back down to that 20-day moving average. If you ask me what I thought about it, there, when it's screaming up the page, I'd like it to come back closer to that 20-day moving average. I'll say the same thing here. Price is a little bit too far away from that 20-day moving average. I like a pullback to it. Price will come back and revert back down to that 20-period moving average. But I mentioned earlier about the turnaround, the stock price turnaround here. It was 350 something in July of 20.
Is it just me, or does that look like a massive cup?
Massive cup and handle.
That's a pretty big cup there.
Yeah, for sure. Stock price was $5 just a couple of years ago. I remember this was such a great short position. Trading Carvana a lot in the swing trading coaching group. Short the stock for quite a long time. It was always a good short. Not anymore. So a nice turnaround there with the stock price. You could see also value rising. Earnings growth rate rising, sales growth steady, earnings per share positive.
What I see here is a comeback story. If I do a dateline, like right in the middle of this troublesome, the growth rate earnings negative, sales growth rate negative 24, earnings per share negative $8, and that was 2 years ago, 2023. The turnaround story, you see the earnings per share finally went positive around here. That was August 2024. The buy rating had just came in. Yep. Price was around $150. Earnings growth rate. This is a classic turnaround story. Our forecasted data, even the buy recommendation, giving you the story that this company is turning around. The sales growth rate at this point and earnings growth rate both went from negative to positive. So yeah, the software did a great job letting you know of a turnaround candidate. And I've been messing around with this EPS, finding companies that are going from negative earnings per share to positive earnings per share. Maybe I'll do a video of that on that in the future, to see what kind of maybe stocks potentially put on your shopping list or radar. But that has been a great search to utilize. And this is a great comeback story.
And also, this is a weekly chart, right? So this is a 20-week moving average. Look at how that 20-week moving average was really nice support here for many, many years. A little too overextended here. You can trade Carvana short term. You can invest in Carvana, obviously. I would like to see a pullback. I mentioned the daily graph. It's a little bit overbought, a little overextended. Weekly graph, the same thing.
If I take this right here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful support.
Looks like a level
right
support. And look right where it's at. That 20. You might be onto something. If I had to guess, I'd have some patience. If you want to play this momentum to the upside, stay disciplined. But ultimately, I'm thinking that $300. If you got some patience, it might approach that again.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. Let's see here, Netflix. Let's go back to a year. I think we're still in the weekly.
Yeah.
Or you got?
Sure. 1 year chart. Here's Netflix. This is what I love, right? So here's your 20-day your 20-day moving average now. Netflix running away from it, comes back down to retest it, hugged it for a while. There's your pull away. There's your retest. Sitting right at that 20 right now. So Netflix is a nice buying opportunity here. What I can't even read that, but whatever was that, 1341. Stock's at 1287 now, so we're talking $60. Maybe another 5% upside to the recent swing high. So a nice tradable entry here for Netflix. I like to see the market turn around. We're always going to go back to what the market's doing. We mentioned the MTI being quite high for a while, and we've been saying Downside risk outweighs upside potential. I don't know if today is the start of a pullback, but we want to buy stocks that are on up days. Today is not an up day. So.
And again, if your whole goal was just to do some good swing trades off of this, tariff bottom, whatever you want to call it, and take advantage of some of that market volatility, use that 20-day EMA. Or even, if the buy rating goes to a hold rating, that's probably going to be your first warning. It says, hey, maybe I should take some profits with the MTI so high, whatever it may be. But if it starts, if you start to have positions in your portfolio all start to drop below their 20-day EMA, that's probably a good time to start reevaluating your portfolio and say, hey, some of the, I don't want to lose all these profits because I've seen the stocks you've given me. Most of them are up at least 40, 50%. There's been a huge run in the market, and I just want you to finish the summer with some good profits,
It's expensive stock too, so you might want to consider call options if you guys trade options. Gain more leverage that way, control more shares with less money.
Here we've got Palantir, again, flirting right with that 20-day EMA. I talked about this last week here. This is consolidation zone. You can see where price action was channeling in it. Flirted right below that 20-day EMA, right in the consolidation zone. But look, big bodied candlestick today, even with the market, we saw the major indices down day to day. This is a nice full body candlestick. Let's look at the 1-day intraday. Let's get rid of value because that's going to skew it. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, nice consolidation. Looks like an ascending triangle here. Ooh. Boom. A little freehand line. Boom. There we go. Broke out.
Retested.
Retest. Off to the races. 20-day EMA keeping you in the trade. Looks like investors trying to get it back to session highs. Probably break out to a new high this afternoon, it looks like. Otherwise, it'd probably be close to a double top. But Palantir showing some optimism there. So if you're thinking, buying the dip on Palantir, this is probably the trade setup. But just again, if you don't have access to the software, MTI levels are elevated. So the swing you saw, from when the MTI is at 0.6 to 1.5 is going to be much bigger than the, potentially than the swing we might get here coming up next with Palantir. So just know that these trades that you've entered in the last week or two might be shorter lived than trades you entered, a couple months ago. Let's see here. We got Palantir. Let's go back to 6 months. So this is China. China had a steep sell-off here in April. You can see it's starting to rally. Went from about $20 here at the low. I'm almost doubled here. This is triple leverage China. It's still rock and roll, but again, using this 20-day EMA almost as a level support here. If you see a pivot back above this 20-day EMA, might be a decent entry point, but we do have the buy rating there. This ETFs and no forecasted data. Here is the Agricultural Bank of China. Growth rate in earnings, 33%. Sales growth rate's actually negative right now. Stock went from about $13 at its low to about $17. Had a nice run here. You can see the high coming into play. Let me just zooming in here. If we do get a pivot off this 20-day EMA, maybe just put a nice little, let's see here, freehand line, maybe a nice little trend line. I'd want to see price action break above this downward trend line before getting bullish on this position. If you're in it by chance, just remain above the 20-day EMA. It looks like it's doing a good job keeping you in the trade.
Khan is asking, is Tesla a good buy now? Khan, I always think that if price falls below the 50-day moving average, that is a significant bearish move, right? Institutions are really paying attention to that 50-day moving average and are not going to be bullish when price is below it. I think it would serve you better if you just waited for price to cross back above the 50-day moving average before you start participating, because that's when institutions would, kind of have Tesla back on their radar. So I know it's down big today, but crossing below that 50-day moving average on news isn't a bullish move. So let's wait for price to cross back above the 50.
Here, add a 50 real quick. All right, now we got a 50.
Yeah, Bill says Tesla falling knife. Yeah, we don't want to trade those. I actually bought TSLQ today, like I mentioned that earlier. So that trade's working out pretty well.
And here's Brazil. Again, the 20's above the 50. Price action above the 20. Strong buy rating, not a hold. So, we saw the foreign entities, especially at the beginning of the tariff, when gold was having its run. It was gold and it was foreign entities, foreign banks, foreign ETFs. Doesn't look like that trade is necessarily ending, or at least in the likes of Brazil. I mean, bottom left, upper right. I like what I see here. Nothing too great. Not a lot of volatility, just from 23 to 28. Not much, the swings aren't too crazy here. India, same, just like China and Brazil. Nice lower left, upper right. That one from about, 48 to 55. So
is that a 20 and a 50-day moving average?
Yeah,
nice.
I put the 20-day EMA, and then I put your 50 here.
Yep.
That'd be the red one.
Perfect.
And you can see, actually, that 50-day looking like good entry points there. So long as it stays above that 50-day. Again, Jerry bringing us some good information here. Here's Tesla. This is exactly what we don't want to see. I'll let Jerry break this one down for you.
Yeah, so not only below the 20, but below the 50-day moving average as well. Let's see. Does look like I would call that support. I can't see what price that is.
Oh, yeah, this is like a little support zone.
Yeah.
So if you ever see little lines that I always draw my own support lines.
Yeah. No, great zone right here.
You see it caught it last time.
This
time, I don't know if it's going to catch it.
We'll see. It's right at support as well. So
because last time and what I like to look at is for double supports, just kind of like before that 20-day EMA. This one, you had the 50 and the support zone. You can see price action caught it and went right back up. Here, we lost the 50-day.
Yep.
We lost the 20. So now we only have the support zone. And I don't know. That's a big gap down.
And I always say, if you're ever wondering whether a stock is a good buying opportunity or not, here's when you want to participate, right? Price above the 20, price above the 50, the 20 upsloping, the 50 upsloping. Find buying opportunities during those times.
Because the stock is doing what you already want it to do.
Yeah, there's buying pressure.
Otherwise, you're guessing when
That's
you're
right.
that turnaround.
I think that we might be guessing here, right? If we're trying to find an opportunity here, participate in these types of environments. Wait for those types of environments because you're speculating. You might get a nice support retracement, or you might just get a rally to the 20 again or the 50 and then another rip down lower, right? Like we got here. So you kind of look at this area here. That's a bullish harami with follow through. You might think that that's a buying opportunity. Let me see if that's anywhere near a support level. It kind of was, right? Let me go hit.
So that was a good fakie.
Right in this area here, right? You had support back. There's a lot of congestion here, right? So when price retraced from it, came back down to retest it, you might think that this retest of support here and retracement is a good buying opportunity. Well, you're below a downsloping 20, you're below a downsloping 50. All you got here was a quick little retest of the 20 before a rip lower. Participate when price is above 20, the 20-day moving average, 50-day moving average, and those moving averages are sloping upward. That's when you want to be bullish.
Let's do
Spend your time doing that, and you'll see more consistency.
So like right here, we had nice big green day, big body candlestick, just broke above the 20-day EMA. This day, you got a big body, a lot of enthusiasm with investors, just went above the 50-day. So if you're more aggressive, you might have tried this from a technical entry point.
But it's at least it's appearing on your radar now. Once price crosses above the 50 here, so that's a perfect date there. Price crosses above the 50 there, it pops on your radar. You get a little bit of a retest. Now, right here in this area, you are bullish again. You're not bullish anywhere during this time period. Price isn't moving anywhere. It's retracing from support, it's retracing from resistance, it's channeling. You got your turnaround here when price crossed above the 50, then your retest of it, and then your retracement off of it. Now you're bullish again. Now, just looking at the hard right edge, your perspective has changed now.
So let's see. I'm just trying to keep up with you. You keep saying EMA, but MA is checked. EMA is the 20-day. MA is the 50.
There you go. Yeah. So, and I interchange the 20 EMA, SMA. Sometimes there's not too much of a difference between a 20-day EMA or the 20-day SMA. I'm always using a 50-day simple moving average, never a 50-day EMA. I don't need a 50-day EMA. 50-day simple moving average, 20-day EMA. I think that combination works well. But price is below both of them now, so you're bearish, right?
And if you are bearish on Tesla, you might get some chop because you are entering a level support here. So make sure you got a stop in place in case you never know with Tesla or the news or Elon. This thing could easily find a pivot and start rallying. So just make sure you are disciplined if you are playing to the downside of Tesla right now. All right, we got to get ready to take some of your stock. So here's Yang. This is a bearish ETF. We saw China, lower left, upper right. This is exact opposite. This is upper left, lower right. Again, price action below that 20-day EMA. 20-day EMA below the 50-day. So very simple, very effective technicals to let us know not to be good idea to be bullish.
Is there an inverse of Yang?
Yeah, it was Ying. We just looked at.
Is it? Oh, we did look at Yang. Okay.
There's Yin and Yang. They're both triple leverage.
Perfect.
Or yin.
Just
this
juxtaposition there
bullish.
of the setup.
So if you essentially if you ever want to play the China deal or tariff deal, whatever, the politics of it all, Yin and Yang is the way to do it. Bullish or bearish. But you can see the bulls are still winning as far as China, and the bears are currently not doing so well. And you're seeing a retest here right at that 20-day EMA. Like Jerry said, wait for it to get above that 50-day if you really want to see the trend starting to turn around essentially. All right, let's close out of this. Before we go to your picks, let's just look at some usual suspects. Let's go to industry. Semiconductor is always a good one to look at here.
The guys were saying the market's crashing. Take a look at the real quick the market timing graph, 1 minute chart. There was somebody said news came out. Trump said something.
Oh God, who knows?
I know
this happens a lot on our live streams, Jerry. Let's see. Let's go VVC. See what the VVC is doing here. One day.
1 minute. Oh yeah, that
doesn't look good.
No,
that doesn't look good at all. But this big one right here, that's probably
that
when
was
Trump
it. That's what everybody
talking.
was talking about. Yeah.
Well, I did see Treasury Secretary Bassett said they're supposed to give some updates for the tariffs today.
Looks like
I
they
know
did.
you ladies and gentlemen in the comment section may know that update because it looks like that started right after the live stream here. If you know what was said, put it in the comment section. Again, we try not to get too crazy political here, so just keep it neutral if possible.
Siobhan is asking, Jerry, did you teach the EMA course? We're actually doing a current Mastering Moving Averages class right now. So yes, I'm one of the instructors for the. It's not just an EMA course; it's just a moving average course in general.
So here's the cues. You can see it's pretty range bound. I think the market was just waiting. I mean, again, the Treasury Secretary said the news was coming. Let's see here. Let's see what this range is looking like. We got this on the top end here, this kind of on the bottom end, and really probably right here.
25% add-on on Korea and Japan. That was the news.
Oh,
thanks, Ross.
Okay. Do you want stock picks now, or maybe now, or maybe now? Tabula, you really want some stock picks? All right, it's about that time. There's the 1 day. Actually, the only thing I wanted to see. We'll just make it quick here. Mining. What are the mining stocks doing? Flat. We might see some optimism there, but again, because remember last time when the tariff turmoil was going on and then the tariffs were going on, what worked? It was foreign. It was gold. So I would keep those in your back pocket just because, as we know, a lot of updates are occurring this month and sounds like the beginning of August. As well, don't forget GDP data. I got to look at the economic calendar. I think that comes out next week, and that's the second quarter. First quarter, we had negative GDP. So whenever you guys ask me, are we in a recession? Are we heading to recession? I always tell you, by measurements of GDP, we are halfway there, and we'll actually find out in about a week or two. I'll look on the economic calendar. If someone online wants to look it up real quick, when does second quarter GDP data come out? Put that in the comment section if you got a second. That way everyone can know, because obviously that kind of news is going to be big and can move the market, right? Hopefully we don't get into that recession territory, but we'll see. All right, let's go back to viewers. Let's go to your picks. Since Jerry's here, normally we do it by likes. Actually, should we do it by likes, Joey? I'm going to let you decide.
Yeah,
All right, Joey said we're doing it by likes. Hit that like button. You got 30 seconds, and today you get a special treat. Don't start giving me stocks yet. Better start hitting that like button. We're going to go off, every 10 likes, you get one stock, and you got a special treat. You got Jerry here breaking down the charts. Let's see here. We'll give you about 10 more seconds, and if you give me, I don't care if it's 3 stocks today. Glenn was getting firm, and I'm going to see Glenn, so I've got some Glenn energy in me, and we're going to stick to the rules today. That way I can. All right, how many likes we got, Joey?
76. Nice.
76. We'll round up. You got 8 stocks. First one coming in. Jerry, read it across.
Any one of those?
The next one that comes, they always like to jump ahead.
Okay. AEHR.
AEHR is the first one. AEHR. We got SoFi.
SE. Coin. CLS. BTM. TTMI.
What was that?
TTMI.
Is BTM the little crypto one I'm thinking about?
I think Bit Digital. I think is
Bit Digital. Yeah, that'd be an honorable mention.
DRS.
DRS. How many is that?
That's about 8.
8 on the dot.
There we go.
Do you have an honorable mention, a stock that you would like to talk about? I'm going to do that. It was Bit, right? Bit Digital?
Bit Digital, yeah, Bit.
This one's been moving.
They just reported, or news came out today, that they are creating an Ethereum reserve.
That's what I was talking about last week, VBH. Remember I was telling you, don't sleep on Ethereum?
Yeah.
That's okay. So
top stock in the Derby, too.
Yeah, they're trying to do what MicroStrategy did with Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
These people are trying to do with Ethereum. I tell you what, Ethereum is at a make or break point. If you pull it up on a chart, it's done nothing for 5 years. Bitcoin's gone through the roof. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be like an industry rotation. You think for stocks, people are thinking rotate from Bitcoin to Ethereum. Keep it on your radar. But yeah, we're about to break it down. See, it's up 22% right now. I personally love Ethereum just because there's a lot of other coins that rely on Ethereum's ecosystems. Ethereum has an ecosystem. Bitcoin does not. Bitcoin is solo. Just like Solana is an ecosystem. A lot of the meme coin, I think it's Fart Coin is the big one, is Fart Coin. That's literally when I went on Trader TV this morning, get ideas flowing this morning. I even told Mark, the number one thing people are talking about right now is called Fart Coin. I couldn't stop laughing. So again, if you get in a coin named Fart Coin and you don't realize that it's probably just, well, not probably, but it's just a pump and dump kind of thing, that is on you. The bigger players, the Solana, Ethereum, the Bitcoin, that actually has some application value. But, just be careful of that. All right, we got CLS. Let's see here. Let's see what the big movers are today. Big movers, Bit Digital. Telling you, that Ethereum, the Hawk Tua coin, oh, God. Yeah, she did a crypto coin, and that's why she pretty much got kicked off the internet, was her Hawk Tua coin. But we got BTM, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. And I've said this before, and I said it last week, that don't be surprised that cryptos move when you get the bill passed. Because the whole point behind cryptos is the lack of trust behind the deficit, the dollar, the mechanics of it, the politics of it all. And you see these cryptos are moving today. So again, I don't know how you feel about politics, but it doesn't matter which article you look at, whether it's conservative or not so conservative, more liberal, whatever it may be. The main concern of the bill is adding debt to the deficit, and I'm not surprised we're seeing some of these major cryptos going up here. And how I try to say that very non-political, but still ends up. It's just the market we're in right now. Politics are moving the market, is what it is. John says unicorn fart dust. Ron from Space, I can't even. I use my day trading to sell my long trades. I don't fall on day trading singing Dixie. Yeah, be careful on days you day trade. Ryan, I put all my money in a Hawk Tua coin, and now I have nothing left. What should I do? You probably should have subscribed to VectorVest a while ago. That would have saved you the whole Hawk Tua mess. Bill says big money, Bill. Pennywise is laughing. But yeah, so... it's just the market we live in today. And look, coin is up. Let's see, the market, everything down, 501, 197. And look what's holding coin. And if I had to guess, I'm just going to throw it in there. I'm going to put HOOD, because HOOD is, it moves kind of with crypto. May not be as well. Let's see if the crypto can keep Hood. No, Hood is
down.
down. It's down 1% compared to some of these other ones. Not bad. Okay, so coin just went negative here.
Where's Bitcoin right now? We got. Let's see.
Yeah, you can pull it up on your phone.
Yep.
I would probably guess what 109?
108.
108.
108
Okay.
and change.
So as far as some long-term value picks,
Low 108.
What is it?
Low 108.
Low
Just a little
108?
bit above 108.
I still like Ethereum. But again, I'll say this about crypto. As technology changes and as, society changes, that could also change how crypto is perceived and how crypto is done. Because like with Bitcoin, my big problem with Bitcoin is the amount of energy that it takes. It's an energy hog. Literally takes more energy than certain countries to manage the Bitcoin network. So I think there's just going to be some innovations that could affect crypto. Quantum is obviously going to be a big player. We'll see how that affects just the world in general. But yeah, let's see here. RV, LRN now at the top of the list. We got CLS, Hood. So these are some of the best long-term players here, showing long-term price appreciation. SoFi in the list. We got relative safety. What are some of the safest picks, especially with the market volatility of this year? These are probably some good ones to have on your radar. DRS, Stride, CLS, TTMI, Robinhood, SoFi, Aher. RS is only positive with TTMAI and above. The rest of these, a little bit more on the riskier side. Let's go to top 20s. We got 11 here. All right. Now let's see here. RT, what's the highest momentum ones? Bit Digital, not surprised, going up 22% today. Hood, SoFi. Looks like a lot of tech. A lot of tech is leading the momentum charge. If I scroll over to the right, brokers. Financial's hot. Yeah, so 4 financial, electronic, 3, software. But I don't know, Coinbase, you can put that kind of in the brokerage category as well. I mean, yeah, I put that, it's financial.
Could mean a lot of different.
So yeah, financial, electronic, and aerospace and defense. That's what's up here. We've got some clean energy, which has been hit or miss lately. Yeah. They're down today, right, because of the big bill.
I'm sure
that's probably took a lot of.
Yeah.
I didn't even read about it. I can just logically think, and I'm pretty sure all those subsidies are gone.
They're gone.
All right, let's graph all of these, see what opportunities lie ahead for everybody.
Amir is saying, how about the MTI being way up? Of course, that's always something that we want to consider. So we have a saying, right? Downside risk outweighs upside potential. That doesn't mean that you don't have any upside potential left. You always want to weigh that risk-reward balance with every trade and stock that you buy. So yes, MTI is high. Downside risk outweighs upside potential, but that doesn't mean the market can't keep going up. It's a down day today, so no matter what we say on any of these stocks, we want to buy them on up days. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if the market rebounds.
Yeah, take a breather. And again, you just got to ask yourself what your objectives are. Are you happy with what your portfolio has done in the last few months during this rally? Are you okay with taking some profits, or are you willing to take the risk to potentially squeeze the last few dollars out of it? That's what it comes out. It's a personal choice. I can't tell you what to do. Jerry cannot tell you what to do, but we can only tell you that upside potential is now being outweighed by downside risk.
John's got a good point too. I hope you have some spider puts on if we go down for the next few weeks, or any type of bearish trade, right? An inverse ETF, some spider puts, an inverse ETF. In our swing trading group, I bought SQQQ last week as an insurance policy. Well, the market just kept going up. SQQQ made a new low, and I closed it. That doesn't mean that I won't or can't do that again here if I see some weakness in the overall market. I think Tesla, TSLQ, it's a bearish play, right? You're bearish on this Tesla stock price. Market falls, Tesla's going to fall along with it. So you're protecting yourself, protecting the long positions a little bit with an inverse ETF or a bearish option play right now.
And me personally, I like the DEW. The DEW has done such a great job of just keeping you in this nice swing trade since it was about, April 24th, if I remember correctly? Even when the market pulled back a little bit, The DPO stayed in positive territory, kept us in the trade. DEW, great trade, swing trading signal. If that goes down, I'm definitely going to get more bearish and be more concerned about taking profits. But like I said, the market's trending up. I'm not going to fight the trend quite yet, but opening up your, getting the wheels a turning, saying, hey, this could be the end of the rally. Should I start getting defensive? Your mind is in the right spot.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to go through these a little quickly here. I want to just kind of give you guys a little bit of insights on, take off a lot of these indicators. I'm just going to put, do we have volume on here? Yeah, volume. I'm just going to put the 50, the 20, and volume on. What's that other line?
I'll let you break these down.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
They're probably
value.
tired
I'll get rid of value.
Hearing me. They hear me talk all the time. They'd rather hear you talk, Jerry. Let's be honest.
I'm going to go through them quickly, and I'll tell you the ones that I like compared to the ones that I don't like. Bit Digital, way too overbought, right? I don't care what news came out. You're chasing this sucker, right? If you buy it now, you're just chasing it. Way too overbought. It's
Look
actually
at that upper wick though.
Yeah,
too.
you got a long upper wick today, so you had a gap up. You had to run all the way to 386, but you're selling off now. We break out above this zone right here. I'd love for price to retest that price, to that zone right there. That was the old high, so a break above an old high, a retest of this zone. I can't say 270 or so. Again, I think you're chasing if you buy this now. So I would wait for a retest of that zone.
News driven. Again, remember this has to do with the Ethereum deposit thing, just kind of like MicroStrategy.
So here's Hood. Bearish Harami yesterday, confirmation today. You're well away from that 20-day moving average. That's the EMA. I'd love to see price closer, come back closer to that 20-day EMA before I would become bullish on this one. But you got a bearish Harami on, not yesterday, Thursday, and then confirmation today. So could see a little bit of a short-term reversal back down towards the 20. If it comes all the way back down towards the 20, get ready to buy it. When should you buy it? You should buy it if it kisses the 20 and then retraces away from the 20. There's TTMI. I think this one's a little overextended. I mean, just look, you can always look historically at how price reacts to certain moving averages. It looks like this one likes the 20, comes back down to the 20, kisses the 20, hugs it a little bit. That's a much better buying opportunity than now. Looks like you might have a bearish Harami forming here today. Way too overbought for me to want to buy it now. I would love for price to come back down towards the 20. Same thing here with SoFi. There's a looks like a resistance zone. There's the old high. I think that's congestion there too. Let me put on support and resistance and see if we find it. Well, there's another zone down here. I think you have the old high there at about 16 and change. Just breaking above it. Maybe you put on another EMA. Maybe the 8-day EMA might
something help tighten it up a little bit.
Tighten up a little bit. Maybe hug these lows a little bit more. So if I right-clicked here, go add moving average.
Oh, there's an 8 already.
Oh, there's an 8 already? If that 8, yeah. Price to revert back towards the 8-day EMA. It's also known as the trigger line. A little bit too overextended here. I'm sure if I put on stochastics, which I don't have to, well overbought on that one. There's CLS. Man, come back down to this zone right here. So here, price broke above.
Nice retest.
What's that price there? 140.
144.
Okay, price broke above 144, came back down to retest it almost to the penny, retraced from it. There's your 8-day EMA.
I mean, that's hugging that 8-day EMA.
It's hugging perfectly. That 8-day. This is a better buying opportunity, I think, than some of the other ones because it's close. It's much closer to the 8-day EMA there.
And it just coming off that pivot from the retest too.
Yeah, so you're not too overextended here. Here's the pivot, here's the retest, and you're only a couple of days off of that. So it's not like you're a week late, right, where price retraced from support and now you're 7 days or 5 or 7 days away from that retest. You're only two days away from that retest or retracement, excuse me. So that's a much better buying opportunity. Here's Coin. This one actually looks pretty good. There's this zone right here, whatever that zone is. 380, 336, right? 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, break above recently, beautiful retest, and now you're just retracing from that zone. You're also hugging the 8-day EMA. I think this is a much better buying opportunity for Coin. Again, you gotta take a look at your own personal situation. MTI being high, you want to be very careful. But this is a good setup here where price retests that support level and is just retracing from it. This looks pretty good as well. It's not too overextended. Price came back down, kissed the 20, has now just, looks like either a one white soldier or a bullish engulfing there right at the 20-day moving average. Follow through Thursday. You got another good update today. Much better setup than some of these other ones. You know, if you ask me what I think here, I'm going to say that's a little too overextended, right? I know volume's coming in heavy. That's a shooting star. That's a bearish candlestick formation. I would say wait for it to come back. There you go. Just that day there. That's all I need. I need a little bit of a pullback to these major moving averages. There's the 8-day EMA pulling back down to the penny. Nice reversal candle that day. Nice break. That's the day that I would look to take it.
Jerry just taught you how to buy the dip the right way.
Yeah.
You want to buy a dip on an uptrending stock.
Yep.
A lot of people are taught to let me buy a dip on a downtrending stock. That typically doesn't work out very well.
And on a down day. You don't want to buy it on a down day. Buy it as it falls to the moving average, as it dips, and then the rally begins or the resumption begins, the retracement off of the 20. That's when you want to buy. AEHR, man, that's a doji. That's right. Looks like right at resistance as well.
That looks like clear rejection.
Clear rejection of this zone. So either you wait for price to retest and retrace from that zone before you take it, or a break above that 1559 zone, because you got some decent upside to the next resistance level. But you have a rejection of this 1559 resistance zone, so you wait for support or a break above that zone. DRS, nice. Look, it's a nice uptrending stock, right? Man.
Again, you just missed the retest.
Maybe just missed the retest here.
But it's
Thursday,
not too overextended.
It's a doji here today, so a little indecision today. We'll see how volume plays out. I would wait for follow-through on this one tomorrow, given the indecision today and the low volume. But there's your 8-day EMA. There's your 20. Price just retraced from the 20. Again, you're not a week or two away from the retracement of that 20-day moving average. You're only a couple of days. So this is a good buying opportunity, I think. EOS, this seems to be an emerging trend here. Right, price just crossing above the 50-day moving average. It's above its 20. The 20 has just begun to upslope. The 50, it doesn't look like the 50 is upsloping yet. 50 is flat, but it's good. It's a bullish sign and signal that you have price just crossing above the 50. It has rejected this $5.42 resistance zone. Look, if price breaks above today's high at some point over the next couple of days, there's your buying zone, right? Right above this resistance level and above today's high. And then LRN, not too bullish on this one at the moment.
See, that's a dip on a downtrending stock.
It is.
That's a dip you want to avoid.
Yeah, this is a dip on a downtrending stock, right? Below the 8-day, below the 20-day, below the 50-day as well. So you have price below all your major moving averages. It's at a support level, but I would wait for it to cross back above the 20, cross back above the 50 before you become bullish on this one.
All right, we're going to close out. I just want to look at gold real quick, especially with the, it looks like the sell-off in the broad market with the VectorVest composite. And then we're going to check out. Let's see, your mining, gold, silver. Look at that. Bottom wick. We're seeing a little pressure today. The moving averages. It's still above the 50. Look, just like you were saying, retesting that 50. Yep. We're close to the 50.
Those highs there over the last couple of days. Now we're looking at the sector as a whole, right? So if you're looking at maybe a gold ETF or a mining ETF, you're going to look to see maybe price break above the highest high here over this 3-day span. It looks like it was.
That's probably about 762.
762. So you're bullish on. You're a little more neutral on gold right now. You're bullish if it breaks above 762. So this is again the sector. I love how it's sitting on the 50, it's sitting on the 20, it's sitting on the 8, but a break above these highs here would be bullish.
Excellent. Well, Jay, it's been awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That was
fun. We'll have to bring you back.
See you guys next Monday.
Rumor is Wednesday, I'm going to have Steve Chappell for afternoon market action. And as far as the schedule going forward, we haven't figured out all the details yet, but we will be seeing more of these guys going in the future, getting a lot of their excellent insight that they get to provide the VectorVest subscribers in the community rooms. If you do have access to the software, if you have a trial or a membership and you're not taking advantage of some of those community rooms within the VectorVest 7 software, make sure you do so. And if you don't know how to go there or to find them, you either go to the training tab or don't hesitate to call support here. We could definitely point you in the right direction. Now, everybody, hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. The market's not starting off with the optimism we would like to see, but hey, it is what it is, and hopefully we'll keep those green lights coming this week. Keep that primary wave up this week just for the bulls. But if the market does roll over, Jerry, myself, Steve, that'll be coming Wednesday. We're definitely going to make sure to keep you on the right side of the trade. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you Wednesday.
See you next time, guys.